The last 30 years of basketball have been beyond my wildest dreams. I never could have imagined that I would have played basketball for this long. After years of youth leagues, AAU, high school basketball, 4 years at Duke, and 15 years in the NBA, I'm retiring from the game that I love so much and coming face to face with my own athletic mortality.
They say athletes die twice. Once when they retire, and then once when they actually pass away. With that in mind, I think that I almost died this summer. My name is Khani, and welcome to the Khani Project.
Maybe the other one.
It's low in battery. There's something abstract about a person's ability to be creative. You know, like what sparks it. And on the flip side, what ultimately could be the death of it. So I have been thinking about the word death lately. But not really the concept you think about when you think of the word death. Something a little bit more abstract. Do you ever talk to yourself when you're alone? I do. Like, I'll have like these full-on conversations to myself. I'm like the interviewer and the interviewee. Like, for example, like my film's about to play at Sundance and I'm the interviewer and the interviewee, and I'm like doing this like weird sort of like role play. And it's not even something that I'm like trying to do or like decide to do. It's just like my mind starts to sometimes think and then it just kind of goes into this weird tangent. Like I've done my Oscar speech like 5 times already. Okay, not my Oscar speech, but I've done like an award speech a few times already. All the people that I've thanked, absolutely no, I'm joking. But is that weird? Like, I kind of got into this whole spiral of like how creative people think, and then it kind of got me thinking about like how I think. And I kind of want to figure that out. So how do creative people think? Let's back up for a second. Let's go back to the main topic of the video. What is the death of an artist? So you see, like each artist has their own platform for expression, right? Like some people use paintbrushes and create beautiful canvases, and some people capture images, and some people, they capture moving images in some augmented way, and that's me. It is getting a little too dark, so let's head home, and then we'll finish everything else at home. You see, it's even more complex than just that. You see, inside moving pictures, there's like long format and there's short format. There's certain long formats that are meant to be seen in the theater. There's certain short formats that are meant to be seen on your phone, and vice versa. And it's even more than that, actually. There's narrative and then there's non-narrative. And like, honestly, I'm just really confused sometimes. I feel like I'm spreading myself a little too thin, artistically speaking, of course. And like, I'd make YouTube videos daily if I had the mind for it. I have the time for it, that's for sure, right? But I find myself, I don't just make videos. Do you know what I mean? I don't just do things. I find myself doing things at 150%. So for YouTube videos, I don't just casually make them. I try to find ways to express myself, like this video in itself. It's why I do less of like tech reviews, and even when I do it, when I'm trying to do it, I'm also like trying to make it super practical, and even then it's just, that stuff's not interesting. To me, what's interesting is like finding ways to express yourself and whatever format I do it in. But I find that the more I do it in different formats, in different mediums, the more I find myself dying as a film director. You see, I learned this summer that I have an obsessive personality. And what that means essentially is that I don't really do things. I obsess over them and do them at 150%, 200%. It's great. Like, as a film director, it's great. I watch films all the time. I have a bunch of books up there that I'm just constantly reading. Like, let me show you. Shot by Shot. This is essentially breaking down the whole process of film directing. Story by Robert McPhee. Really, really good book. Dialogue by Robert McPhee. I haven't gotten a chance to read that one. Master Shots Volume 3. Conversations with Walter Murch and the Art of Editing. Walter Murch is essentially one of the godfathers of editing. If you've ever heard of the Rule of Six, it comes from him. Honestly, I don't really want to take down all the books up there. This is probably like 2% of some of the books I have. My whole closet is full of books as well. A lot of narrative stuff, but also a lot of just books and things that I just want to read. A lot of them I haven't read. And I've found myself not reading these books more and more, the more and more my mind gets cluttered with other forms of expression. And the more and more I find myself watching videos about like breakdowns and other people like breaking down how to do this and that. And it's like, realistically, as a narrative film director, 90% of the YouTube videos that I've seen on filmmaking aren't really helpful for me as a filmmaker. And so, I don't know, like, it's just one of the niches that I feel like if I am going to live on this platform is one of the niches I'm going to fill up. So this summer I started obsessively learning about gardening. I completely changed the entire front yard and backyard. Not just like what goes on top, but like the soil structure and loosening the soil. And I could tell you the types of grass we had and the kind of fertilizer that it would need and how often to cut the grass and all this stuff that I obsessed over and learned over many months when I could have just been writing my script. And it was like one of those realizations that I had. I'm watching gardening videos for fun. And not to say that the creators that make gardening content are bad or anything, but it's just, it's not really where I should be spending my time. Like, I think right now we have like cherry tomatoes. I grew my own sweet potatoes. We had our own chilies. What else did we have? We grew on basil. That took a lot of time. Took a lot of like mental power, and it's just an area where I just realized I'm obsessing over this, and I've done this over and over again where I pick something, I obsess over it, and I just don't realize the kick I'm doing to myself by not staying obsessed with my passion, right? Of film. So yeah, I think I almost died this summer, artistically speaking, obviously.